Hi, I really enjoyed reading Chapter 8 of The Social Pathway in our book Multiple Pathways to the Student Brain by Janet Zadina. I found this chapter super meaningful because working with 4- and 5-year-olds, social interactions are absolutely vital to our learning every single day. Especially when I'm at circle time and you have the one student that always calls out the same answer and is always praised for having the right answers. It's important to try and include every student, and especially when it comes to social status. After reading this chapter, it made me feel like my job was especially more important. And I highlighted some things throughout the chapter that I thought were pretty meaningful. And one was that emotions play into social interactions. The frontal lobe helps us to regulate attention and ways of affecting social interaction. One of the very first chapters or lessons that we do in VPK is understanding emotions. We take pictures of the kids and they say what emotion they're feeling, and anytime there's conflict resolution, we always discuss, how are you feeling? Oh, you look frustrated. How can we help you through this? And something that I found interesting is that the social pathway is one of the strongest pathways. And through research, they found that there's many different pathways that are included in the social pathway, and mostly working memory, which is important for student learning. So positive emotion can affect the social pathway in terms of learning, but also it can activate the amygdala, which is the fear that we can feel from social status, such as being the kid that maybe gets an answer always wrong, or doesn't feel as motivated to learn. It says that in the book, social interaction is very rewarding, contributing to good health, well-being, and longevity. Therefore, that can impact the rest of someone's life. And I feel that this is especially true for teenagers that may have been severely bullied in school, may just struggle with anxiety and depression through college, and just overall impacting the rest of their life. And one of the main things that I learned in this chapter is that social learning can be rewarding to the brain and involves cooperation. Team building activities is one of our very important concepts that we do in VPK. I love bringing out big puzzles that the group can work on and having to share pieces and, I recognize that piece. I think it might fit here. That kind of language just thrills me as a teacher. So once again, social status has been shown to affect academic performance. In terms of bullying and social rejection, what I found very interesting was the research behind this, saying that it affects the myelin sheath between the corpus callosum, which connects the left and the right hemisphere, and without that myelin sheath, learning can be deteriorated. Creating environments that deliberately foster inclusion of all students. Like I said, having to call in the student that may not always raise their hand for an answer, but may know it, or may just feel socially shy. Always encouraging wrong responses as positive mistakes. We all make mistakes. I often try to recognize my mistakes when we're doing a learning activity. Even the kids might point it out, like, oh, Miss Lindsay, you forgot a step. And I'm like, oh, my bad. We'll go back on that. It's okay to make a mistake. Encouraging group work was something that I found really interesting as well, because I clearly remember in high school hating group work, to be honest. I found that as I got older, I naturally became into a leadership role, but it was hard in high school feeling like you could open up in front of a group and that, your ideas were important. And I liked that the book mentioned giving students specific roles when they're doing a project. Maybe like being the note taker or being the person that creates the PowerPoint. And that really fosters and empowers students as far as social status. Oh, an effort and struggle is better than an atmosphere of being right or being faster. I really love this. I love the struggle. Watching students, especially in Block Center, when they build something and it comes tumbling down and they build it right back up, I always try to praise the effort in doing it again and even making it bigger and better than the first one. Let's see. Oh, mirroring neurons is important in modeling positive emotions and social status. Teachers can model all the time, and especially in VPK. I always try to model positive emotions, and even when I'm having negative emotions, I might tell them how I cope with it. Maybe I might take a few deep breaths. Maybe I'll take a walk and find a bathroom that's farther in the building, and that can help students cope with their emotions as well. Anytime I have to call, I really try not to call students out, but maybe there's something they forgot to pick up. I try to say, oh, please and thank you, and you're really helping the classroom, rather than making them feel like, oh, I'm the person that always makes a big mess and I'm always being called on to clean up something. So modeling the process and the struggling for students is super important. And finally, the technology chapter I found super interesting because COVID-19 has really impacted how much technology is being used in the classroom. And especially when we were quarantined and really only using, Google Meet or Zoom to connect with students or people. But the promising thing is that with moderation, technology can be super helpful. It can be a great resource. And they have found that Google can make us smarter. Students are having access to more information and they're gaining more knowledge. So it can be a positive thing, and I believe educators can use it positively as well. Overall, I really enjoyed this chapter, and I think that I've learned a lot out of it and has really reinforced what I'm doing in the classroom now.